Ice plant is a flowering succulent that produces very unique and beautiful flowers, and growing them is super easy. You can just follow this video and the growth and blooming of your ice plants will be maximum. In this video, we will discuss about ice plant care guide, including each and every important point. So keep following this video and do subscribe to our channel. Ice plant is a winter's annual flowering plant native to South Africa but can be grown in all warm climate areas. They are very hardy plants and mostly used as a ground cover. The scientific name of ice plant is Mesembryanthemum crystallinum, and it's also called as diamond plant or common ice plant. Basically, it's an outdoor plant but can be grown indoors too. It's a non-toxic plant that's also edible with a salty taste. Their leaves and stem both have such type of crystallic appearance, and that's why it's called as ice plant. Ice plant have many varieties with many color options, which makes it a best drought-tolerant ornamental plant. The common variety of ice plant possesses single petal flowers, while double petal flowers are rare and not for a beginner. This common variety grow very easily, so start from this. You can grow this beautiful plant by their tiny seeds at the starting winters, but the easiest option is to buy their mature seedlings during winters or springs. You can easily find them from any local nursery. For growing them from seeds, follow the video added in the description box, and once you have this plant, follow these care tips to enjoy an endless supply of ice flowers. The first and the most important thing in ice plant care is to understand their season of growth, as it's an annual plant that have an ideal temperature range of 15 to 27 degrees Celsius. During this temperature range, this plant grow very well. Their growing season starts in the early winters and continue over whole winters and springs. But in the starting summers, as soon as the temperature exceeds to 27 degrees, ice plant starts to dry out and ultimately dies. It's because this plant can't survive in so much heat. If summers are cool in your country, then it can grow even in summers. Overall, it's a cool area plant and grown in winters and springs. So follow the season to grow its seeds or transplant it or fertilize it, whatever, and subscribe to our channel. Another very important thing in ice plant care is its soil mix. It's a succulent type of plant that stores a lot of moisture inside of its leaves, and here a water blocking mixture is your only enemy. They love the well draining and loose soil mix. The soil media shouldn't be holding too much of moisture for a long period of time, otherwise their stems can rot and the plant can die. Simply use a well draining and loose mixture. It's not that difficult to make such a mixture. You can follow this homemade recipe that works just fine. Video on this soil mix is added in the description box. The only important thing is that moisture should be draining out time to time. With a good soil mix, our problem doesn't end here. No matter how good your soil is, watering should be in your control. The easiest and the most simple rule is to let the upper layer of soil to dry and then water. If your whole soil is dry, still this plant won't die, but overwatering for only a single time will definitely kill it. So just check the upper layer of soil and then water, otherwise just wait. A cheap potting mix is also added in the description box if you like to buy. Another important thing in ice flower plant care is its proper fertilization. As though it's an annual plant that will definitely produce a lot of flowers when the ideal temperature comes, but a good fertilizer can also promote a better flowering on the plant. The shinier color of flowers will be visible if the plant is fertilized. Ideally, a balanced fertilizer twice a month can work well. Simply use this homemade flower fertilizer. It's best for flowering plants. Video on this fertilizer is added in the description box and I button if you like to try. Otherwise, just use any fertilizer every 2 weeks. Deficiency of nutrients can also appear in the form of yellow leaves, so must use a fertilizer and subscribe to our channel for more such videos. Another important thing in ice plant care is how big pot is good for them. It's an annual succulent plant and have a smaller root structure that don't require so much of space, but make sure of drainage holes. Ideally, you can use a 5 inches of pot for a single plant, but deficiency of space won't cause a problem. For example, look at this pot. It contains around 20 to 30 ice plants that are not so big, but they are growing. So it's better to give it an optimum size pot. Some of them are also linked in the description box to buy. Another big thing in ice plant care is its sunlight requirement. So here it's a flowering plant. Obviously it loves a good sunny area, while deficiency of light will cause laggy and dull growth of the plant. So you should provide them at least 3 to 4 hours of sunlight, and more than that will be even better. Their flowers open only in the sunlight, so it's a sun-loving plant. Sunlight keeps pests away, makes the soil to dry, promotes buds and flowers, etc. So overall sunlight is essential, so make sure of it. Shaded area isn't going to work for this plant. And to learn more of such secrets to boost flowering on any plant, you should follow this ebook. It's like a mastering guide. It's linked in the description box to buy. Another important thing in ice plant care is their deadheading. Ice plant is an annual plant that makes seeds as soon as possible. It's important for its rebirth in the next season. So once the plant starts to make seeds, the flowering of the plant reduces, and by removing the dried and spent flowers, we can push the plant to keep producing more and more flowers. Simply cut off the dried flowers whenever needed and subscribe to our channel. Common problems of ice plant includes their yellowing leaves, leggy growth, stem rot and root rot, etc. Overall, keep the soil good, water draining, sunlight coming, and these things won't be a problem for you. Generally, ice plant is a pest-resistant plant, but sometimes you may find aphids or spider mites attacking on them. So for that, you can use Neem spray at the early morning time. Hopefully they will go away. So it's all about ice plant care guide. Follow it point by point and success will be guaranteed. Overall, it's a perfect flowering plant, but the only disheartening thing about this plant is that it dies as the season ends. So here is a list of permanent flowering plants that live for years with consistent flowering. Must check it out and do subscribe to our channel.